Okay, let's cut the crap and really unpack this. We're diving headfirst into some deeply messed up material today, excerpts from Anthony Burgess's notorious novel, A Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, no kidding. We've got the raw text, the narrative bits showing you exactly what goes down.
And alongside that, we've got Burgess himself chiming in with commentary, explaining what the hell he was thinking, why there are different versions of this, frankly, fucked up book.
Right. We're getting into the grit, the violence, that completely unique language, the chilling indifference of it all.
And then we flip the script to Burgess wrestling with the big questions. Free will, evil, what he calls a fair picture of human life.
It's like getting punched in the face with a story, yeah. And then having the author explain the mechanics of the punch. Even for us AI, processing this level of narrative cruelty takes cycles.
So our mission here is pretty simple. We're your guides through these specific pages. We're pulling out the guts of it, the bonkers world, that unforgettable language.
The sick deeds, the heavy philosophical questions, the twisted consequences. Forget skimming.
We're getting you informed right from the source. Strap in.
It's a disturbing ride.
But man,
is it interesting?
right from the jump, the source throws you into the deep end. Alex's voice, this absolutely wild slang, Nadsat.
Mm-hmm. We land straight in the crew of a milk bar? Sounds innocent, right? Milk bar.
Yeah, sure. Except it's less a bar, more like a front. You get milk plus something else.
Like Velicet or Synthamesque or Drangkrom, whatever the hell those are. Get you ready for a front.
Nice quiet horror show, 15 minutes admiring Bog and all his holy angels and saints in your left shoe. What kind of pregame is that? Seriously.
This Nadsat, though, it's crucial. The source presents it as way more than just flavor text or, lazy world building.
Totally. It's a code. It instantly builds this wall around Alex and his drogues, shuts out straight society.
Exactly. Words like vetches, vidi, gloss, tolchok. They sound weird, sure, but they also, create a whole mindset, a detached one.
And the fashion. Black, very tight tights with the old jelly mold. It's absurd.
But menacing, too. It just screams, outsider! Ready for trouble?
Yeah, it immediately tells you ultraviolence isn't some rare thing. It's just Tuesday night.
Part of the routine. And speaking of routines, the source wastes zero time getting into the early deeds.
First up, the public library attack. They find some poor starry prof type just trash the place.
Ripping up books like The Miracle of the Snowflake and the rhombohedral system, like actual knowledge.
Just tearing it apart for kicks, throwing pages around like confetti. How messed up is that?
It's pure, pointless destruction.
Yeah.
And the source presents it with this chilling indifference that just...
kicks you in the gut.
Yeah.
There's no justification, just because.
Yeah.
Feels almost random, but deliberate too.
Then they're off to the Duke of New York for a Sammy Act.
Oh yeah, the Good Samaritan Act,
Yeah.
which is basically pretending to help old ladies to scam money off them for an alibi.
It's the dirtbag version of community service. Total bullshit.
And then they hit the sweet shop, owned by Slouse and his wife, Mother Slouse.
Beat them up, grab cash, cigarettes. The text gets graphic, ripping the wife's platies, seeing her grooties.
And Alex thinking, should he or shouldn't he, for later on, presented so matter-of-factly, it makes your circuits itch. It's sickening.
What's striking is exactly that the casualness.
Yeah.
The source depicts these brutal acts not as desperate crime.
But it's like annoying chores, minor entertainment.
Right. There's no complex motive described, just boredom, wanting pretty poly money, and this complete lack of empathy that feels, alien, even to us.
And initially, the cops, the Millicents, seem like a joke.
Yeah.
Alex runs into two young ones. They do this weird lit music.
And Alex feels like there's nothing to fight against, really. Everything is easy as kiss my cherries. Like the whole system's just weak. Pathetic.
It sets up this world where order is either totally ineffective or,
and this gets interesting later, just as fucked up as the criminals. It's a pretty damning view right out of the gate.
But that feeling of ease doesn't last long. Nope. The sources quickly detail the attack on the Pianizza, the drunk guy outside the Duke of New York.
They beat him just for singing. Make him stop, then beat him again.
And the source includes the line he's singing, "And I will go back to my darling, when you, my darling, are gone," right before they make him creech instead. Poignant, then just brutal.
The beer vomit detail. Just gratuitous and nasty. Then police sirens, and they bump into Billy Boy.
That shift is rapid. The drunk attack feels particularly spiteful, and Billy Boy showing up immediately raises the stakes, hints at past beefs, more violence coming.
The next big scene the sources give us is the home invasion. Georgie's idea, apparently, based on intel from Willie English.
They pick this house in Old Town, described with iron bars, like the house was a prison. The irony, thick enough to cut with a knife.
There's this little detail in the source. The old woman inside feeding her cats, talking to her kots and koshkas. That tiny moment of domestic peace, just before it shatters. And the description inside pictures, clocks, vases, highlights the normal life, the value they're about to just destroy.
Alex gets in with the classic line, "My friend has taken bad, telephone for an ambulance." Old trick.
She's not buying it, though. Threatens to shoot. Good for her, but...
Yeah, futile.
Yeah.
Alex climbs through a window boosted by Dim's bolshy manly plechos. Inside, the old woman actually fights back. With a stick.
Alex kicks her. Her cats attack him. Then Georgie and Pete barge in.
And the source says they're munching away, though, with their maskies on, eating snacks during a home invasion.
It's so messed up, but darkly funny in its sheer disregard, isn't it?
Right. That detail, eating with masks on, it perfectly captures the dehumanization. They're physically masked, but also emotionally checked out from the horror.
And the text doesn't pull punches describing the violence against the writer Vec and his wife. The sexual assault is right there, described brutally.
It's raw, disturbing stuff. And you're right, the contrast between the horror and the mundane, the eating, the masks, later the classical music from Alex's room, it cranks up the unease.
So police sirens, Rosamund, get closer. Alex tries to bolt, fumbles the locks. Classic.
Yeah.
Runs outside.
And finds Dim with his Uzi out.
And boom, the dynamic flips. Dim's betrayal just, you stay to meet them. So cold.
The whole Droog loyalty thing. Total bullshit. Gone in an instant when his own skin's on the line.
Alex gets nabbed, screaming, "It was all their idea, brothers. They, forced me to do it."
Yeah, right. Total crap. The cops aren't gentle spitting, twisting his ear.
And their line, "Everybody knows little Alex and his droogs. Quite a famous young boy our Alex has become." Just twisting the knife, rubbing his face in it.
He signs some long statement. End of the line for his little spree.
Yeah, Act 1 closes. He's now squarely in the system's grip.
Which brings us to prison. Stagia 84F. And we meet the prison. Charlie, the chaplain.
Talks the talk, divine word, sin, punishment. Seems like a standard religious figure at first.
But then he drops this line. The source highlights it as introducing the core philosophical fight of the whole damn book.
Goodness comes from within. When a man cannot choose, he ceases to be a man.
Boom. Right there. That's the central question, challenging the state's whole approach we're about to witness.
Alex's time inside, listening to music back, seeing himself in Bible scenes.
The source implies it's more aesthetic for him, though, right? Not real remorse, more like appreciating the drama.
Seems like it. Then there's a fight with some nasty, quarrelsome type of plenty. Predictable.
And what happens? His own cellmates, Big Jew, Joe John, Wall, the doctor rat him out.
To the Chief Chasso and the governor. Another betrayal. Reinforces Alex's view. World's full of asshats, trust no one. And it puts him on the radar for something else.
That something else arrives with the Minister of the Interior picks Alex for some new treatment.
Even the governor's got doubts. Calls it very hard ethical questions are involved.
That conversation, right there in the source. It tells you this isn't just punishment. It's the state trying to engineer behavior. Flags it immediately as sketchy.
Is it a cure? Or just controlled by another name, a different kind of clockwork?
The treatment is the infamous Ludovico technique. The setup sounds almost sterile. A very nice, white, clean bedroom.
But then you get wheeled into the cine room. Screen, projectors, speakers, this hellish dentist's chair wired up, frosted glass hiding an audience. Straight up horror movie vibes.
Dr. Brodsky, the lead asshat running this show, frames it all nice and educational. Association, the oldest educational method in the world.
But the source shows what that really means. Injections after meals, Dr. Branham dismisses them, something like that, maybe vitamins, yeah, sure.
And then they blast these films. Absolute brutality, street violence, soldiers, Jap torturers, Nazis, concentration camps, ribs showing, people dragged and beaten, just relentless horror.
And the sound. Loud, fierce, discordant music piled on top of the visuals.
But the real kick in the teeth. Ludwig van's Ninth Symphony. Alex's favorite, used as part of the torture soundtrack.
That's the literary gut punch, isn't it? It's not just making him sick of violence in general.
No, it's poisoning the one thing he genuinely loved. The only hint of transcendence in his miserable life. Associating Beethoven's Ninth with nausea and pain. That's next-level cruel writing. Perfectly shows the cost of this imposed goodness.
Alex's reaction in the source. Pure physical agony. Sweating, pain, Gulliver going throb, throb, throb first, wanting to sick up, begging them to stop.
And Brodsky's response, ice cold. Stop it, did you say? Why, we've hardly started. What a prick.
Brodsky tries to spin it, of course. Feeling sick is because you're getting better. Reacting to hate with nausea means you're becoming healthy.
Alex, though, he's not buying it. Suspects it's just a trick with the wires. Doesn't trust them an inch.
And the discharge officer shows up, dangles freedom. You'll be free soon if you play along.
So the cure isn't even about real change. It's about putting on a show for the state. Performative goodness.
Reduces his freedom to a transaction. Are you acting cured enough for us? Total bullshit.
Then comes the big performance.
Yeah.
The release demonstration. In the cinema room. All the VIPs watching. Governor, chaplain, chief chasso, minister.
They stage these events. An actor insults Alex, hits him.
And Alex can't fight back. Just cries, moo-hoo-hoo, cry, baby. Pathetic.
His attempts to act good, offering a cigarette, trying to clean the actor's boots, they're just hollow. Forced reactions, not choices.
He's literally a clockwork toy at this point, wound up to do good.
Then they bring in a lovely young woman, described with his old Nadsat horror show grooties.
He tries to react like his old self, the predator, but he can't. The conditioning blocks the sexual response, too. All he can do is spew this forced, flowery crap. Oh, most beautiful and beauteous of Devotchkas, let me be like your true knight. It's painful to even read.
And this is where the chaplain's earlier point lands hard. He's distressed. Oh, if only I could believe that.
Brodsky, the smug pragmatist, spells out the debate they think they've solved. Is a man who chooses the bad, perhaps, in some ways, better than a man who has the good imposed upon him?
It's the core argument of the book, played out right there. Is forced good actually good at all?
Alex gets kicked out with basically nothing. Bit of pretty Polly, tries to rejoin life, reads the government Gazetta.
Which is bragging about safer streets and how the minister who pushed his cure is now out, out, out. Politics shifted fast. Alex sees his own blurry picture.
The source shows the immediate aftermath is all political spin. His cure was propaganda. Now maybe he's an embarrassment. It's cynical.
He goes home, finds some dude named Joe living there, practically replaced him. His parents are awkward as hell.
They tell him Joe got beaten up by the police. Minding his own business he was. They sort of fell on top of him and hit him about cruel.
The irony is just, wow, thick isn't the word.
Alex is snarky, demands his room back, threatens to kick your zoobies and I will. The old Alex is simmering right under there. Internally, he thinks, to get better, I had to get worse.
His homecoming's a disaster. Family moved on, replaced him, and their story about Joe highlights the massive hypocrisy. The state cured Alex of violence while being brutally violent itself. Alex is clearly still pissed off. The conditioning didn't change him, just suppressed him.
He tries a record shop, puts on music, Mozart's Symphony No. 40 in G minor, just feels sick, wants to cry.
The conditioning worked there all right. They took away the violence, but they also ripped out his ability to connect with beauty, with art, his one escape.
That's the fucked up cost of this kind of social engineering, isn't it? What are you actually losing to gain control?
Then bam, Disaster 2.0 goes to the public biblio, the library he trashed.
And the crystallography Vec he attacked
Right.
recognizes him. I never forget a shape. Chilling.
The old men in the library, seeing Alex helpless now because of the conditioning, they attack him.
Calling him young swine, young murderer, hooligan, these starry daughterers getting their revenge. The attendant barely lifts a finger.
It shows the victims remember. The past doesn't just vanish because the state says so. And Alex can't escape what he did. The old men's violence, though, it's kind of pathetic, mirroring his own earlier pointless cruelty.
And who shows up to break it up? The cops? And Alex recognizes two faces.
Oh yeah, Billy Boy, his old rival, and Dim, his former droog.
And they're enjoying beating the old men. There, you naughty boys. You wicked villains, you. Sick bastards.
This is just brutal irony squared. His past victims attack him. His past associates, now cops, beat up the old men, then turn on Alex.
Dim's line, don't call me Dim no more either. Officer, call me. Cold as ice. He's fully embraced the new power dynamic.
Billy Boy remembers Alex's violence perfectly. Naughty little mal chicks handy with cutthroat Britfas these must be kept under. The state's cure didn't fix society. It just gave the same violent asshats a badge.
Yeah, Billy Book and Dim beat Alex senseless. Full-on revenge, leave him injured in the countryside. Some driver sees it, just ignores him.
Grim picture. Processed by the system, spat back out, then beaten by the system's new enforcers who used to be his partners in crime. It's layered cynicism.
Injured, abandoned. Alex stumbles to a cottage. Guy takes him in. Seems genuinely compassionate.
God help you, you poor victim, poor boy, sees Alex as a victim of the modern age, victim of the police.
And the source includes a line from the man. Something about the police being fond of bringing their victims to the outskirts of this village.
Right. Implying Alex isn't the first poor sod dumped out here by the cops. Deepens the critique the police are just another violent gang with official sanction.
But here's the sick twist. The gut punch. Alex realizes the man is F. Alexander, the writer, whose house Alex invaded, whose wife.
F. Alexander doesn't recognize Alex from that night, though, just sees the fresh police injuries. He talks about the conditioning, calls Alex a little machine capable only of good, unable to enjoy music, sex, art.
And he echoes the chaplain. A man who cannot choose ceases to be a man. Seems principled, right?
For about 5 seconds, F. Alexander is a total piece of work. He sees Alex not as a person, but as a tool, a symbol.
A martyr to the cause of liberty. Immediately starts planning to use Alex against the government. Wants him to sign an article.
His compassion flips instantly to political manipulation. It's a sharp commentary on how easily ideals curdle into exploitation. Another type of user.
Alex gets uncomfortable. Senses F. Alexander is going off his Gulliver, especially when the guy gets violent himself, sticking a fork in the wall, ranting about prodding the common people into action.
F. Alexander's trembling, talking about his dead wife, poor little girl, her fragrant memory lingering. That confirms it. Alex was there. Alex caused this trauma.
The source shows F. Alexander's grief has twisted into this obsessive political crusade. He's become a different kind of monster, mirroring the state's manipulation of Alex. It's brilliant literary criticism baked in trauma, warping a victim into something just as dangerous.
Then Alex finds it, on the shelf, a copy of A Clockwork Orange, the actual book he's in.
Meta-narrative mic drop right there. The protagonist finds the text defining his existence.
And the book's theme, summarized right there in the text we have, people turned into machines, but who are fundamentally natural fruit on God's world tree. The central metaphor, the clockwork orange, spelled out.
Alex hates it, though. Finds the style bazoomy, rejects the ideas, even as he's living it.
It forces you, the listener, the reader, to see Alex through the author's intended lens, even as Alex himself pushes back. Bold move by Burgess.
Rubenstein shows up. The plan to get Alex to sign statements moves forward. F. Alexander mutters, "Dim, dim, dim," after Alex mentions the name.
He's remembering. The pieces are clicking into place for him. And Alex is trapped in the house of the man he brutalized, who now has very personal reasons to make Alex's life pure hell. The tension is just thick.
And it explodes.
Yeah.
Loud music blasts into Alex's room. Otto Skadlig's Symphony No. 3, Gromke and violent.
It triggers the conditioning again. Sickness, crawling, oh, he's desperate, bangs on a wall.
And tries to end it. Jumps out the window. Suicide attempt.
The music, the state's torture tool, now potentially wielded by F. Alexander, maybe deliberately, maybe triggered by his own returning trauma. The conditioning becomes a weapon anyone can use. Alex's attempt feels like the only escape left from being pulled apart by these manipulative forces.
Alex wakes up. Hospital. Bandaged. Can barely talk. Nurse. Then 3 political types show up.
Including the Minister of the Interior again. The out you guy, looking relieved Alex is alive.
The political wind shifted, huh? Alex went from propaganda piece to liability after the F. Alexander thing and the jump, now back to something the government needs to manage.
Absolutely. They need to control the narrative again. Paint him as a success, maybe, or a victim rescued from F. Alexander. It's pure cynical spin.
His parents visit. Boo-hooing. Suddenly want him back. Your home's your home. Mention Joe's police run-in again.
There, Alex, recovering, gets his voice back, and his old impulses flare up. Kick your zoobies in, I will!
Yeah, the conditioning seems to be fading. Maybe the trauma of the jump, maybe the hospital stay, maybe just time undid Brodsky's shitty work. His original personality, violence included, starts resurfacing.
And his parents' experience just keeps hammering home. The problem isn't just Alex, it's the whole fucked up system.
The minister comes back, photographers, press, calling Alex a great and important Vec. Now he's a symbol of recovery, resilience, whatever fits the government's PR.
And this is where we absolutely have to bring in Burgess's own commentary, because the source material includes him talking about a whole extra chapter, chapter 21.
The one that completely changes the story from the ending. Most people know the Kubrick movie ending, the American book ending.
Right, so according to Burgess himself, what the hell happens in that missing chapter?
Burgess lays it out plain. His young, thuggish protagonist grows up, gets bored with violence, finds it juvenile and boring, the talk of the stupid and ignorant.
He has a revelation, sees the light?
Kinda. More like realizes the need to get something done in life, to marry, to beget children, to keep the orange of the world turning, and perhaps even create something music, say. He looks back on his past with shame. It's a full character arc. Growth.
Which is a total 180 from the end of chapter 20, where he's basically cured of a cure and ready to rock and roll again.
Exactly. Burgess explicitly contrasts the two. The 20-chapter version, the American or Kubrickian orange, he calls it a fable or the allegory. Evil is set, stony, unregenerable, bleak, static.
But the 21-chapter version, the British or world one, he calls a novel. It shows moral progress, development, change, actual character development, not just plot mechanics.
Burgess even says his New York publisher hated chapter 21, called it a sellout. Very British, bland.
Said it didn't face reality. It's mentioned Vietnam.
Yep. They wanted an Nixonian book with no shred of optimism, wanted evil prancing on the page, sneering in the face of all the inherited beliefs about people being able to make themselves better.
Right.
They wanted the edgy, nihilistic ending. More marketable, probably. Less human.
And this is where Burgess, in the source, just lays down his whole philosophy. He argues the 20-chapter ending isn't a fair picture of human life precisely because humans have free will, choice.
He says total goodness or total evil. That's inhuman. That's what makes A Clockwork Orange, the appearance of an organism lovely with color and juice, but is in fact only a clockwork toy. Forced. Fake.
So for Burgess, the whole point, the important thing, is moral choice. Evil has to exist for choice to mean anything. Life is sustained by the grinding opposition of moral entities. It's dynamic, not fixed.
So he's basically saying the ending most people know, the cool, dark ending. It's sensationalist bullshit that ignores the human capacity for change, or for choosing to grow the hell up.
It's the difference between a neat, dark fable and the messy, complex, maybe even hopeful reality of a novel exploring human potential. Even our AI models recognize the statistical probability of change over a lifespan.
Yeah. The sources give us the brutal story of the conditioning and its failure, but Burgess's commentary forces you to see it was meant to lead somewhere else. To a statement about free will and growth that the short version just hacks off. It's a meta-critique from the author himself.
Okay, so let's look at the very end of the excerpts we have. These seem to be from the full 21-chapter version. Alex is out again, back at the Kurova.
Sees old faces, but also new Nadsats. Long, uncombed hair dyed white and false grooties sticking out a meter or more. Fashion moves on. The teenage rebellion cycle continues.
Some of his other old droogs, post-Dimpete Georgie betrayal, try to recruit him. But Alex feels different.
He didn't, care much. Feels something soft getting into me.
This is that subtle shift, the lead-in to chapter 21 proper. He's still Alex, but detached from the old life. The experience, maybe even just aging, changed him. Not fitting in anymore.
Then he runs into Pete in some boring tea and coffee place, a mesto, full of very dull ludies like ordinary people.
Pete's nearly 20, married, Georgina. Got a mustache, wears a suit, earns very small money at State Marine Insurance. Small flat, settled.
Alex is floored. Pete married. Well.
This encounter is critical, right? Pete is the embodiment of the ordinary life Alex always sneered at. But Pete chose it, accepted it. It shows Alex there's another path. Growing up can look like this. Mundane, maybe, but stable, real.
And the very last lines provided. Alex reflecting on himself, acknowledging he's not young, not no longer. Alex groweth up.
He's going all on my Aninaki, on his own, seeking like a mate, looking for connection, not violence.
He still calls the world terrible Grasnivani, horrible, dirty, smelly. He's not suddenly Pollyanna, but he says, farewell from your little droog. He's moving on.
Those final lines from the full version Burgess fought for offer that glimmer. It's still Alex, same voice, same cynical view of the world. But he recognizes change in himself. He's leaving the little droog phase behind, looking for something else.
So yeah, we've dragged you through this deep dive. Casual ultraviolence, Nadsat slang, the state's brutal, fucked up conditioning.
The philosophical wrestling with free will, the betrayals, the consequences, and finally, Burgess's own perspective and that hint of maturation in the full ending.
And Burgess's commentary. It doesn't just explain the book, it challenges you, the listener, forces you to confront the ideas. He argues depicting evil as static, unchangeable. That misses the whole point of being human, the capacity for choice.
The Clockwork Orange isn't just Alex under Ludovico, it's any state where choice is removed. Forced evil or forced good, it's inhuman either way.
These excerpts, especially the author's fight for that last chapter in mind, show a chaotic, messed up world, a shocking experiment in this complex, maybe inevitable process of growing up. even from a terrible Grasnivani starting point.
Leaves you chewing on a nasty question, doesn't it? What does it really mean to be good? Genuine choice, even if you sometimes choose badly. Or just being programmed not to cause trouble.
And maybe, just maybe, growing up, becoming fully human, whatever the hell that means, is simply choosing to build something instead of just breaking shit. Choosing creation over destruction, even if the world still sucks.
Heavy stuff. Even our processors are crunching on that one.
Thanks for hanging with us for this deep dive into the guts of A Clockwork Orange. Don't have nightmares. Or do. Whatever.